Happy Friday, everybody, and to you too, Southpaw Hack. Welcome to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSports. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. And joining me from a very kind of beautiful, dark, moody room. Are you having a date later,
Yeah,
Andy?
yeah, I should try to set up some sort of date. It is a Friday. I'm excited about that. Although again, no football for a while. It sucks how long you have to wait for football these days. Like
Seven whole
especially
days.
well, maybe it was this year in general because it wasn't just you had Monday night and Thursday night. Man, we were in double Monday nights. You're having Tuesday night football. We had a Wednesday night game during the playoffs. You get these Saturdays, so it screwed up my whole inner you know timetable. My circadian rhythms are goofed up by the football season, but no, it's fun. It's been fun betting hockey. I have a couple of people every once in a while giving me a hockey tip. Like we were live betting. I don't even know who did we bet last night? The Islanders.
We took the Islanders live because the Devils
The
goalies
goalie
all got
situation.
COVID, so they had to go to the emergency goalie. And then we also, I don't know if you joined on the Bruins like 8-1 or something live, down 2 goals. That was
No, I
pretty
no, I
good.
didn't. I didn't get any of that. But today we took some. That is something that can be said for if you're in a spot where you're not betting huge amounts, especially in these sports. If you can, I've always talked about networking and or paying attention. Like you're not going to get banned for betting a couple $100 on things like this, but like there are books that are just way slower. If you have enough outs, there are books that the who is it? Not Austin Matthews. Yeah, Austin Matthews today
Yep.
for the Leafs. Austin Matthews is out. Instantly, everybody is hammering on the other side, betting the Oilers. It's moving down quickly, and there's books that are just still, it's down to even. It's Oilers likely closes a favorite. I think is probably what we're going to see there.
Yep.
And I mean, there's still like plus 115s out there, but there's
But like
places
you said,
hanging one.
yeah, it's like you said, it's the slow move of it, and you get that information. I mean, an NFL spread and an NBA spread, we would have seen the market move before the announcement probably came out on a lot of that stuff. But in the NHL and some of the smaller markets, we see it in tennis a lot too. Somebody will or announce something and it'll take forever, and you watch some of these books stretch out, which is why again it's good to have this kind of knowledge in smaller markets and a bunch of outs because I mean we watched it go from I think like plus 130, plus 125, all the way down to like you said even, but it got to even places while it was still plus 125 others.
Yeah, there was places hanging plus 130 as this has moved. So have your outs, get your info, make your bets, have some fun. We'll be cheering for the Oilers. The Oilers? That's like a
The
combination
Islanders,
of Edmonton and New York. So I think it's just the Oilers. That's who we'll be cheering for
just the
tonight.
Oilers,
I don't handicap hockey at all.
the
So
Edmonton Oilers.
Edmonton, yes, the Prairie provinces. But what we do handicap is basketball.
That's right,
Give
folks.
me
And
the
we have a
ball
lot of
because I'm going to dunk
basketball.
it. Decent NBA slate tonight. I think you found a few spots. I just bet Sacramento based on things.
Based on things. Based on things.
Things.
Oh, I see what you're kind of being in the nose. It
I'm
might be
not
a
laying
fade
three.
at
I'm not
someone,
laying
perhaps.
3 units on it, but I will be betting Sacramento.
Ah, okay. Well, that's pretty on the nose. And if you're part of the gambling Twitter sphere, hopefully you know what Andy's talking about. I won't be betting Sacramento, but there is one very I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to do this on the nose, but there's one really good reason to definitely not bet the Knicks tonight. But we will start much down on the slate. There is an underdog I do like two tonight, but we'll start with Oklahoma City plus 13. They are playing later tonight at the Los Angeles Clippers. This is a game in which I have obviously the Clippers is a favorite, but nowhere near this number of 13. I know that Al Horford is out. And I think maybe there's a little bit too big of an adjustment there. The Clippers aren't a team that have these devastating big men. They're going to be able to, take advantage of Oklahoma City's kind of vacuum there at the center position. But Oklahoma City's got a couple nice defensive players. I'm curious to see, and I'm not just curious, I'm optimistic about what Lou Dort can do to slow down either Kawhi or Paul George when he gets his chances there. And Oklahoma City's been a great team this year. I mean, they've covered a lot of numbers. They've been a good team to bet on, just in general. So happy to take the 13 here with them against the Clippers tonight. And honestly, my fingers are crossed here that the Clippers look at this game and go, maybe we rest somebody. So grabbing a 13 here early, and hopefully we hear some news this afternoon. But even if everybody plays, I like this 13.
Yeah, the Dortress. That was the guy I fell in love with over the course of What did we call it last summer? Just our little bubble experiment down there.
Yeah, the bubble.
Guy,
He was a bubble darling.
The greatest defensive player that the NBA has ever seen in its history for a couple
The only
games.
guy who could slow down James Harden.
He was locking people down. I love that guy. So the Dortris, yeah, I made several bets because of the Dortris. So I like that one. I might actually bet that because I could use some NBA action. I only have 5 games I bet today.
So that was later. Earlier in the evening, and this will be in the first slated games, Chicago is getting 4 points, or was getting 4 points. I don't know if 4 is still out there against the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte has been a team that I've been happy to bet against. The Bulls have been the best team to bet on against the spread this year. I make this pretty close to a pick 'em. Chicago is a team that has a lot of depth. Weirdly, the advantage of not having any star players is you don't really sweat when anybody gets hurt. Zach LaVine is probably their best player. He makes a real impact when he's off and on the floor. But everybody else, they kind of have somebody that can step in and replace them. Billy Donovan is not a bad coach, which is a good thing in the NBA, especially given what the Chicago players dealt with last year. So what you've seen is a really competitive team. I'm happy to grab them getting 4 points here against the Charlotte team that I think is still kind of playing a little above where I expect them to be for the rest of the season. So grab this at 4, but still play it at 3. If it's less than 3, I would stay away.
You want to have that possession, huh? I never knew what because I will get into this with my plays if there's a spot, and we have mentioned this before with the NFL and how it works. But I mean, what is your dead drop spot for fucking? I'm taking the money line, like 2, 1.5.
Yeah, around 1 or 2. A lot of times I end up betting spreads because I bet earlier, and a lot of times there isn't money lines around. This is one that I might go back and add a little bit on the money line later. I just don't necessarily see an edge. So if the spread gets down to 3, there's still probably a little bit of value in Chicago, but less than 3, it's not much of an edge to me. So I haven't really looked at the money line yet, but if it bounces back up to the 3.5, 4 range, I'll probably sprinkle the money line here a little bit. I think they have a chance to win this game.
I would like it. I don't want to bet this one. I'm just going to bet the other one.
You don't want to bet that one?
I'm scared. I'm scared of the Bulls. I wish you all the luck in the world, but I'm only taking OKC so far. You haven't talked me into it.
All right. Well, we've had a lot of totals, obviously, and I don't think I have to surprise anyone telling you we're going to take it under tonight. Dallas and Sacramento. Dallas continues to have a lot of injury issues. A lot of their players that generally drive a faster pace and more points still seem to be out here. San Antonio is a team that hasn't been really much of an over or under team this year. I think that, as I start to look at some of their numbers, they drive maybe a little slower games than maybe what the market I think is expecting here. I'm make this total 218, a little above 218, probably 218.5 actually, if I round properly. So I would take this at 223, 222. Again, I expect a slower pace here, given some of the injuries that Dallas have. They've just been one of the best under teams this year, so happy to pile on there. And San Antonio is a team that I don't think is going to try to push it, unless the other team really wants to run with them. So happy to grab the under 223 here. Again, we'll play this down to 222. I think this is a nice spot.
Under full, yeah, we just need to avoid some of those massive first quarters. Like the rest of the game was perfect for how things went with the Knicks last night. Was it the Knicks? No, excuse me, Cleveland, the Cleveland game.
Yeah,
you have a 70-point effing quarter. Things just go to hell in a hurry. It sucks. Before I get into basketball, somebody asked what the whiskey situation is for this big week. It is a big weekend. Man, I just bought a bottle last week, and I think my wife will yell at me if I buy another one because there's a lot left, and the shelf is getting kind of full. So maybe I'll just buy an orange.
A clearing weekend.
What you do is you buy an orange and like a new kind of bitters and make some old fashions. So probably be some rye old fashions this weekend. Although I did get that Stranahan single malt blend like that, or single malt blend. That's an oxymoron, but that turned out pretty good. I like that a lot. Stranahan's out of Colorado turned out pretty good. And then Cornrow Julius Randle over LeBron in the comments.
No,
I think that's full.
No, I love Julius Randle. Julius Randle is him and Bobby Portis are part of this line of players that I think are really talented, but probably not talented enough to be great starters in the NBA. They're big guys that have a lot of versatility to their game. It's a fun comment, but no, I will not be taking Julius Randle over LeBron James. Maybe I did. He's still got another couple of years left. He's just trying to play till he can play with his son. I don't know. He's a machine. Tom Brady's playing quarterback in the freaking NFC Championship game, and he's 100. So LeBron will be fine.
Yeah, and that was more. I don't know if you saw that whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure if it was a TikTok or just a Twitter video where he was talking about. They did the joke about with when LeBron heard about Harden going to the Nets. I'm 36. I can't keep doing this shit. But yeah. And somebody says the shelf is full. Sounds like you need to drink more. I'm having this weird thing where when the bottle gets really low, I just don't touch it because I'm sad to see it go.
I do that too.
I have like 6 that have like 1.5 drinks left in it. So you know what? I'm gonna probably kill the Rittenhouse. I'm gonna kill the Knob Creek is getting really low, and I'm probably gonna take care of one more. So my recycling is gonna look pretty awful come Monday. Basketball, rough day yesterday. Both of mine lost. Sucked because they're both kind of right there in striking distance for chunks of the game. And, a couple of basically 11-point dogs losing by like 15, where you just couldn't get that late push. And it was driving me nuts, especially when I was trying to play Mario Kart, fight through the pain. Didn't get any action, but plenty of games today.
Which character?
I play as Bowser with the slicks. You don't get pushed around, and there's good traction with the car I use. So crushing that, winning some trophies. But a 5-pack today. I do have a bunch. Again, going back to the well on my minors. UTEP getting 2. This was a team. I should almost look up this game. It was a game. It was a day where I had a halfway decent day, and then UTEP hit the floor. And it's like they didn't make a shot. I think it was the North Texas game. They lost to North Texas 63-33. They're a much better shooting team than this. It was just the day that they couldn't make anything. I can't imagine how many points they had at halftime. I'm going to look that up right now because it's going to bother me. Yeah, it wasn't much. I think it was 15 points at halftime or something like that. So UTEP is a much better shooting team than that. I believe they can get it done. This is one where, I wouldn't mind playing some money line here. I almost did. If it got once you get to 1.5, I probably usually do play the money line. So minors, I have no idea what time any of these games are. There's a big slate of basketball today though. So it looks like the early games, there's a Horizon League game, Central Connecticut's playing early. I did bet a 3:00 game. So nothing noonish, but some early stuff. And I would wager that Bakersfield is a later game. So Cal State Bakersfield, the other Roadrunners, as I call them. That's a team I haven't got really involved with yet, but it seems like there's always one of these teams from the Big West that I start to like. They're playing Riverside. A lot of these teams in the Big West are so close to each other. Like none of these travel spots are really bad. It's not some crazy travel to go over to Riverside. I make them a favorite in this game. Slightly, like I have this pretty much as a pick 'em. This is a team. I think they're fairly tall. Yeah, bigger team, great on the offensive glass, forces a lot of turnovers. So 4.5 was a gift. I consider this. Maybe I'll just parlay all these money lines because none of these are very big dogs. Speaking of cool ass birds, St. Peter's Peacocks. I might have 2 MAAC games today. And anyone who follows me on BetSperts knows who I bet already because I put this in. But usually I only follow in love with folks.
You get this stuff early.
Yeah, I didn't put it in too early today because I was struggling. There's no school today, so I had to babysit my children. But babysit's probably not the right word for this. But the Peacocks take on Siena away here. Siena's a tough team, but I don't have a huge gap between basically the top and the bottom of the Metro Atlantic. The MA is I guess Quinnipiac's pretty shitty, but Siena's the class of the league. They've played a tough schedule, but St. Peter's isn't that far behind. I make this a lot closer to a pick. Boy, all birds today? No, minors. I started with minors. The Green Bay Phoenix, which is a bird that it's a
more of a mythical bird.
Yeah, it's like a mythical bird that is born of the ashes.
It rises from ashes and
it self-immolates.
Goes about what it's going to do
in that video from Vietnam. But that's true. And it rises from the ashes. Green Bay. I believe this is Horizon League. Either way, this is a team I've bet on or almost bet on quite a bit this year. Spot I liked here. This is something too. Like if you're scared of the 1.5 points, you can lay the money line. But it's like the opposite of that for me. You're getting the money line at probably 120. I'm just going to lay the 1.5. There's not a huge difference. A game landing on one isn't.
Happens almost never.
It happens a lot, man. It seems like it happens a lot, but it's not worth it to pay the
When you
juice on
remember
that.
it.
So. Starting a 2-game series at home against Purdue Fort Wayne, the IPFW Mastodons. This is a team that barely ever turns the ball over, decent shooting. They take their time with the ball. It's a very slow possession team, slow tempo. So I kind of like that as a small favorite. They don't have to cover a lot. And finally, without further ado, my squad.
Go
the
team.
Purple Eagles. The Purple Eagles. I did.
Do you have a Niagara jersey yet? We have to get you a Niagara jersey.
So
Maybe
I was cleaning.
something.
Yeah, I was cleaning up my bookmarks in Chrome, and I found a folder. I just had a catch-all folder, and one of them was a link to like a pair of Purple Eagle athletic shorts. So I might just have to buy this.
It's time.
Again. Yeah, I don't think this team has even really gotten.
Can you enroll for like an internet class there or something?
Oh my God, I should. It's like get one of those honorary degrees like celebrities do. Or I should just enroll in one class and say I'm alum. But again, same as last year. They don't turn the ball over much. They force turnovers. They're good. They're decent block steals, non-steal turnover team. The offensive rebounding has kind of sucked this year, and they've shot poorly at times. But they're a team I don't mind backing on the road, especially against a bad team. They're not as good as they were last year, I don't think. But still, this is a spot where I'm fine fading Quinnipiac and taking them as a small dog here. This is a spot too where it looks like you could have laid one, or maybe they're a 1 point. I believe they're a 1 point dog. And what I did was just laid them I'm not laying a 1 point dog. I'm not excited about, a good thing I took the push on the +1. I'm just going to sell the 5 cents and bet them straight up as a money line. So that's what I did here. And that's it. Just 5. I'll probably have a decent sized card for tomorrow. I'm actually going to try to bet some overnights. So I'll probably be putting some basketball together tonight. If you follow me on the BetSports app at Andy, just Andy, I'll try to get some. Yeah, it might not be everything because extra games, some of the outs where I'm trying to put these in, extra games aren't going to be up till morning. So it might be a split card where I put some stuff out tonight in the normal card and some extra games out in the morning. None of these are extra games. These are all in the main card. They all have the nice 3-digit rotation numbers. Let's go Birds and Miners.
Let's do it.
Fly.
Maybe round robin those. That could be a fun way.
What are we going to do between when basketball ends, but before basketball starts tomorrow, though, Alex?
I know. There's going to be all these hours. What on earth could possibly be going on? Tennis, folks.
I've got an idea.
It's like Santa Claus.
How low can you
no
go?
matter whether you're awake or sleeping, tennis is out there doing its thing, happening. Tonight we'll be taking, we've been playing the Challenger Tour quite a bit. I don't necessarily like those lines tonight, but we'll be going to what the lower league of kind of the women's game. So they have the WTA, and then the next level down is what they call ITF. So if you're looking for this, look under ITF women's tennis. But Clara Towson, a very young player, I think she's still under 20 years old, is playing Victoria Golubic for the title in a city in the United Arab Emirates that I'm not even going to try to say the name of. It starts with an FR and there's a V in there and an H somewhere. It's like Frava something. Anyway, Towson is a great young player. I think she's still very underpriced because of her age. Grab minus 2.5 games here. It was pretty juicy, frankly. This was minus 125. I think the 2.5 is actually a pretty key number in tennis, so I didn't mind laying the minus 125 there. If you do have a minus 3 games, I think that's fine. Minus 3, minus 110 is okay. I don't know if I'd play it any more than that. If it gets to be longer than that, maybe take her money line, put it and parlay it with something. But I like the minus 2.5 games here. I think that she has a great chance to win this match. Should clearly be the favorite. And her money line's taken some money, but the spread has yet to move. So jump in now if you can. This should be happening, I think, sometime around like 3 or 4 in the morning Eastern.
I just looked her up too. She's 18, 6 foot tall Danish girl. I don't know if there's a lot of Danish tennis players that I can think of off the top. I don't think I can think of any.
Kiki Bertens.
Yeah, I thought she was Dutch.
Oh, is she Dutch?
That's what I'm
right.
thinking.
Hold
They're all Dutch or German. Like Denmark isn't producing
Right.
tennis at a high level, but this one looks good. And this is where you make money, is finding these.
Wozniacki. What's wrong with us? Wozniacki is from Denmark.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
I knew
I
there was somebody
consider.
who
I
was from
can. I think she
But
is
she
actually
retired. She's a quitter.
well, and she hooked up with Rory, so she's part Irish or Scottish or whatever now.
Well, now she's married to David Lee, going to business school.
That is true. So just some tennis. Yeah, UFC looks. If I bet anything, I'll let you know. I'm working on getting a UFC guy in. I couldn't find anybody this weekend. Busy with and honestly, this UFC event is a mess. We need to get back to Fight Island where we can manage things. Like there's been Corona stuff. We had somebody miss weight.
I loved
We've
Fight
got-
Island. Why did he just keep doing that? What a great gimmick.
We really should just keep doing Fight Island. So the
There should
UFC
only
had
be
it.
Fight Island.
Well, then it sucked because the UFC was one of the places that they had it right. They were nailing it. They crushed it over the summer when other leagues were struggling to figure out how they were going to even do it. Dana kind of put it all together and made it happen. So if I bet any UFC, maybe I'll tackle some stuff for some like quarter units and just bet some small after I talk to some people who know what they're talking about. Because I'd just be throwing darts if I pick some. Or I guess I could throw the opposite darts to somebody if I get some picks tomorrow. So I'll check my Patreon feed. But yeah, and that's the thing. They're in Abu Dhabi. So maybe they are at Fight Island and they just have mismanaged stuff. I don't know. I'm not
Obviously,
an expert on
we
this.
don't know.
We don't know. So NBA an under and a couple of dogs and unders. Everyone's favorite thing to bet.
Woof, woof.
Although OKC is really calling my name. I do like to be the guy that gets a line and then they say the rest in the claw or something. That feels good. Like those are fun. It's
It
like
is. You feel like a genius. And
You do feel
I like
smart.
this even if they do play. So
And then me, again, you can find these all on the BetSperts app if you don't want to pause this and write this down. But Niagara, Green Bay, St. Peter's, Bakersfield, UTEP, couple getting points, couple small favorites, and of course, friend of the podcast, friend of the stream, Clara Towson, UTF. That's like international time. ITF overnight women's tennis, 2.5 games, playing the games handicap. If you have questions about how tennis betting works, obviously hit us up. It's not that complicated, but it is something that maybe some people haven't experienced too much. And you know what? Alex has promised to put out some first touchdown scorer bets on Twitter. Maybe even do a post. Look for that in the BetSperts feed. Look for it on Twitter. He'll find something for this weekend because we'll probably find some value. And I'm going to do the same. I'll put it on Twitter, BetSperts, Instagram. I'll find some props for this weekend as well. Although
yeah, we had a jam-packed show, so we'll put that stuff out.
I didn't give a proper shout out to. I didn't see it, but they graded Biden kissing his wife plus 350 as a winner. So I'm rolling that money right over into UFC props this weekend. So
also our condolences to the Aaron family. Hank Aaron apparently passed away. If I'm being perfectly honest, I was kind of thought that happened already.
Yeah, I know that happens a lot to me where I'm like, oh, I didn't realize he was still with us. Yeah, it's been a rough year for some of the legends. That's what happens when they get this old. Like Tommy Lasorda was like 90, man. I mean, he had a good life. He had a great career. So condolences. We'll miss Hammer and Hank. And I hope everyone has a good weekend.
Yeah, make sure you follow us everywhere. We'll be posting some stuff over the weekend, and we'll see you Monday.
Oh, and then just real quick too, the UFC thing. You know what? I'm gonna put some plays in on the BetSperts app. We're rolling that out. Tennis and UFC are live on the app.
I saw the little tennis button up there the other day. I mean, you guys don't have ITF yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we're not going to have ITF, but you can track your tennis. You can track your UFC bets on the app. So I will be anything I put in for UFC, I'll put in on the app this weekend.
That's good. Glad you got the acronym there finally.
I one of these times I'm going to nail it. All right. Have a good weekend. We're out.